Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. This is for episode 6 now. It is called Just In Case. And major spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, this was an excellent episode. Really great episode. And if you haven't seen it yet, I know a lot of you guys watch the reviews just to kind of hear what happened in the episode. If you missed it, you can get a chance to watch it. That's cool. You can do that, but I would suggest to check it out because this is not just another episode of Fear the Walking Dead. We did get to see some really intense stuff at the end and a super nice twist. Another one. And from what we've seen so far in Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, I have been extremely impressed at the new showrunners and the way this whole season has kind of come together here, and just the way that nothing seems to kind of turn out as it seems. And even though we have a couple different timelines going here, and they haven't shown us everything just yet, they're keeping us in the dark about a lot of stuff, but it doesn't feel too cooked. Like, it doesn't feel to the point where you just... It's a bit frustrating at times because you want to know the answers, right? But they keep bringing up kind of new things to, like, you know, in this one at the end of this episode, we saw a bunch of kind of new questions kind of pop up about what's happening and what's going on, what happened and what's going on, right? So yeah, like I said, final spoiler warning. So in this one, we find out that Naomi is with the Vultures. So now, did she kind of turn on our, surviving group at the stadium? Did she join them? Was she always kind of involved with them? I don't know. These are some really good questions. She seems to kind of be alone or kind of by herself. But she kind of comes in here at the end of this episode, right in the midst of a standoff, and she kind of calls out on the walkie-talkie to Mel, and he kind of answers her, but in such a way to where it felt like he was answering to her. It didn't feel like she was a subordinate to him in such a way as to where it was kind of a really cool twist and a really cool introduction to see that she's either a traitor or she's been kind of with the Vultures all along, which is a good question to kind of see, and it's something for a Q&A this week that we'll discuss more in detail when I get to see all your guys' feedback and how you felt about this kind of twist. Some of us have been thinking, I did a video on that one, whether or not Althea and trying to get everyone's story could have been a traitor, but in this one we got to see that actually it was Naomi. So this is kind of like the second time they've done this. They did it earlier with Charlie, and now they're doing it with Naomi. Really kind of just keeping us on the edge of our seat so that we don't really know what's happening. I mean, there was a part of this episode where I thought that Naomi was dead and that they killed her off, and that she might have fallen when she was trying to go across on the rope that Strand was kind of holding taut. And so, of course, because it goes down a little bit, and she almost falls. So there's a point in this episode where I thought they would kill her off, and then there's a point in this episode at the end where it's like, no, she's like king shit villain character. So it was a really crazy kind of twist and kind of reveal, and I'm still kind of processing it all, getting to wrap my head around what I think about it. But at the very least, it's something that we haven't really seen done before, and they're doing a lot of stuff in Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 that when you think of the original Walking Dead series, there's so many things they're doing right now that don't feel anything like what we've seen in the original Walking Dead. They feel totally new and totally avant-garde, completely different artistically and in terms of style is what they're doing. And it's just, oh man, really cool stuff. And the way this whole kind of thing is going together, because now you put Naomi on the Vulture side, then you have John somewhere in the middle, between her, and he gets shot by Alicia because she's just losing it. And again, we as the audience here sitting here scratching our heads like, what's going on? I don't understand. So Naomi's evil. She's with the Vultures. What's happening? And you see Mel roll up here, of course, with just a crazy amount of of fighters on the side of the Vultures, and it looks like they've not only have they grown, but maybe the group we saw outside the stadium was just kind of one subset of a larger group, or since the time that's happened, the group has grown even further, and they look to be fully stocked up in quite impressive fashion. Wow. And just bringing up a lot of questions as well, too, like Madison being nowhere to be seen. So, at this point in time, we're like sitting here thinking to ourselves, okay, you've had John and Morgan, they've kind of gone off, right? And they've been in and around. You have the Vultures that have been, all over the place, it looks like. You have the survivors of the original group of Fear, the original Fear survivors, the three of them at this point, with Nick being killed off. And Madison nowhere to be found. So does this... And again, I don't want to say too early that they killed Madison off, because we don't know. It's something that they haven't really addressed. She's leading like the group in the before scenes, but then in the now scenes, it's like she's nowhere to be seen, and we haven't gotten confirmation yet as far as what state she's in and whether or not she's even alive at this point herself. So really crazy stuff, and be sure to leave your comments below in this video, guys, just because so many questions. And what are your theories? Do you think that in fact Madison is dead? But as we got to see here, Naomi is alive. However, she's not who we thought she was. Certainly not who John thought that she was. So wow, man, I'm still the process is blown away. It was such a cool ending and such a nice twist and everything as it was going through. I was like, wow, I was just really impressed by it. So we have the so let's go through each part of the episode. So we have the intro. We've got the guns. We've got Althea. I didn't get home in time to see the just before the credit roll, unfortunately, so I can't get my thoughts on that. I'll watch it later, but I haven't seen it yet at time of the review here. So we've got Ride for Your Story, the discussion with Althea, Morgan, and John are just kind of thrown in the mix here. And I hated what Morgan did here, and I love Morgan. He's one of my all-time favorite Walking Dead characters, but I hated that he told the Vultures, because now he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the Vultures are very impressive. They're like close to, maybe they're not savior level, like they don't have like hundreds of people and that whole kind of thing. There's no Lucille, there's no Negan with Lucille walking around. Mel's pretty badass, but he's not Negan. So, but Morgan didn't know how strong this group actually is, and at the same time, maybe he did kind of help them, because if Alicia and the others had just gone in there with the three of them gung ho, they might have killed off a few of the Vultures. But really, when you got to see here just how many of them there are, you can't think that there's almost any way that they'd be able to wipe out all the Vultures and succeed in that, considering the fact that when you just see the numbers and how fully stocked they are, their vehicles, everything. Oh man, they have a lot, right? They have quite a bit. But I did still hate that Morgan told him that was going to happen. Granted, he has seen a lot of fighting, so he saw All Out War. He was part of All Out War. He killed a lot of people, so he probably just doesn't want that to continue, and he wants to find a way to stand in the middle, in between, and find some kind of peace between them, even if the Vultures are not good people. So he's trying to do he's trying to save lives. He's trying to do what he's doing, but I didn't like that he told them, that they were going to be there. It also kind of ruined the action for us too. So it was just a standout sequence, right? So then we got before, and we go through the whole story here of kind of Naomi. So some scenes from the sneak peek with her and Viv, her trying to drive off, and she tries to kind of drive off or leave a bunch of times throughout this episode. She does do so when they're at the motel, and then we get to see kind of her backstory or her origin of the group that she was with before we've seen her in Fear the Walking Dead. So we saw her with John, and we've also seen her previous kind of to that camp that she was in with her daughter, finding out about her daughter having been killed. And I thought this was kind of a neat twist as well too. This was well done, to where it was an outbreak inside of that community there, the camp at the FEMA center. And it was so secure that actually what happened was that the outbreak inside, like a Tobin situation, during the nighttime with a young child or daughter being the start of it, it outspread, so the zombies, spread throughout, and they were like a virus. They weren't able to push it down. They weren't able to stop it. We got to see kind of the ramifications of what could happen if there was someone who died inside of a camp that was super secure and during the night, and then it just spread everywhere inside, and the survivors that were there quickly got outnumbered, and basically everybody died. Like everybody got wiped out by it kind of sprouting up inside of that very secure location. So I thought that was cool, because that's something that we never seen before. So that was another cool idea. Sorry, firecrackers. Outside people lighting off. So it's what it is. But I just thought it was cool, because we've never seen that kind of thing before. So this is the first time we've actually gotten to see a group just get wiped out by that whole kind of thing. It's something that's underrated, I guess, in The Walking Dead, because, of course, in the original series, we could never have our whole group of cast and characters be wiped out by something like that. But it's something that you could see happen to other groups that are out there, and it was cool to kind of see that explanation, because it's not something I can ever recall us seeing before. So again, they're doing a lot of stuff this season, season 4 of Fear, to really keep it original, keep us guessing, and show us things that are totally different from the feel of the original Walking Dead series. And rather than them just running in gung-ho and shooting them all down action style like you might see Rick try to do in the original Walking Dead, in this one you get to see the kind of the opposite, where it kind of turns on them and then it's like 50 or 40 versus like 3 or whatever. Crazy stuff. So then we get the scene with her kind of going up so she gets caught, right, emotionally. She can't go through it and be quiet. So she ends up getting stuck. She climbs up, and Strand kind of helps her out. It was a pretty cool scene with that. You want to think to yourself, why don't they just systematically take the zombies down, like draw them out and then, take them down one at a time so they can clear the place out, and it might be useful as a possible outpost later. But there was a lot of zombies, and because emotionally it had impacted Naomi from before, from her, her time surviving there before, because she was probably there longer than she's been around the people of the stadium. She wasn't being exactly rational there, and she wanted to kind of go in by herself because she didn't know how she'd handle it, and something she wanted to face alone. So those were all good scenes. I like them, especially kind of, we don't see a lot of zombie kids, but it's something that we probably should see and think about how deadly they could be. They don't make a lot of noise when they walk around. They're small. You don't expect it. There's the emotional impact of seeing a child that's turned, or a young teenager that's turned. Like the one that got, Noah's brother that got Tyrese in The Walking Dead, right? So that's cool. So, yeah, man. I mean, so there's all that stuff going on. Let's see what we had near the end of the episode here. So I think that's, as far as the review goes, that's mostly what I want to say for the end of the episode. The end of the episode was intense, seeing Mel kind of roll up and seeing them all kind of there. The question of how did it all go down still? So we still don't know how the whole thing went down. We've seen Madison have a great day and have a small victory there, getting food and supplies so they can continue, and the Vultures deciding, okay, let's leave. But the warning that Mel kind of gave to her, making her think that she needs to get Alicia to get a backup plan ready, that Strand was right, get some kind of vehicle stocked up in case they have to leave, in case the whole place goes down. Maybe the whole time with the understanding, maybe what we don't see is that they haven't really shown us that group at the stadium, but possibly Madison looking at that group and saying, like, we can't take these guys down. Like if it goes wrong and they have to kind of shoot and go back and forth between the Vultures, she probably thinks that there's too much of a chance that they won't be able to take them down. So, which makes sense, because we haven't seen a whole lot of fighters or people like that at the stadium. We know there's a good number of people there, but we don't know how many are actually equipped and able to fight back and fight for their lives. A lot of them could just be people that are like okay to survive, like elderly people and women and children and things like that. So they haven't really shown us too well that. They've only focused on, out of the stadium people, our core group of survivors, rather than showing us some of the others there and what they have. So we can't get a great understanding of whether or not Madison attacking them when they were out front made sense. Maybe based on what we're seeing, that she had the idea they would not be able to take them down, and maybe her still understanding and asking Alicia to do that, because if Mel and the Vultures decide to attack, maybe she knows that there's just about no way they're going to be able to stop them, because they don't have either the firearms or the manpower or the ammunition to fight them off. Maybe she thinks they can't. So man, really, really great episode. The twist at the end with Naomi was fantastic. Or Laura. Awesome stuff. And really intense, mind-blowing type of episode for Fear, and very promising for the future of this series. If this team can continue to do Fear in the way they're doing it this season, I really believe Fear will continue to do very well, and can be, it can coexist with the original Walking Dead series as something totally different. To a series where, hey, you know what? You don't have a comic book series to base Fear on, and they're using that as an advantage, rather than saying, okay, it's a disadvantage that the fans don't know what's coming. Here, they're like, yeah, you don't know what's coming, and we're going to use it against you. So now we're really going to get your ass, because now you think you're going to have some idea, you're not going to have any idea. And that is brilliant. So I'm going to give this episode a 9.7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty close to perfect, and just really very promising for the future for Fear. I was just like, wow, this is awesome. So really good stuff. Couple episodes left, and that's it for this half season, guys. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Be sure, write lots of comments below, maybe even a couple if you want to, just because there's so much to talk about with regards to this one. Like, wow, crazy stuff. I'll be back in half an hour to do a video predictions for what I think is going to happen in episode 7 and episode 8. It sounds like the stadium is going to fall soon. So that'll be it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, you want to see more Fear videos from me, then you got to be subscribed. Subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.